there, storytellers. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is in my car, as you can see. And I picked this location for this video because today I am going to be discussing my top 5 audiobook narrators, and one of my favorite places to listen to audiobooks that I think anybody can work into their routine is in the car. Even if you're just driving down the road for a little bit and you need something to listen to, it's a great way to get a little bit of extra reading in. I thought I'd share my 5 top audiobook narrators with you because I have stumbled into favorites without even meaning to. When I was first getting into audiobooks, I didn't really like them broadly. I really only liked the way certain kinds of voices and cadences sounded reading stories. I was very particular because I was spending a lot more time on each audiobook. It was very similar to the length of time I spent on a book, a physical copy. So I really needed the narrator to be somebody I engaged with, somebody who could pull me into the story with just their voice, because that's what you need in an audiobook. And when I say I stumbled into them by accident, I do truly mean by accident. I would just sort of search whatever audiobooks were interesting to me based on books I heard about recommended on BookTube and from friends and coworkers and stuff. So I'd just search up the book and hit play a sample, and because I'm usually doing that through my Audible app instead of on the website where you can see all the book's information, I would just be hearing the voice and I go, oh, yep, I love the voice, or oop, yep, no, I don't, next. So it wasn't until I started really looking through my own Audible library and looking at the book's details closely, based on how long it was and who the narrator was, I started looking at those things more, and I realized I have narrators that I come back to over and over and over again. So apart from the fact that at least 2 of them, if not 4 out of 5 narrators, are British. There are some other reasons why I enjoy them, but British narration is always a point in my book. I don't know what it is. I like the accent, I'm not gonna lie. So in no particular order whatsoever, let's get right on into it. My first favorite audiobook narrator is Rebecca Soler. She has done the Caraval series, the Renegade series. I don't know if she's done all of the Lunar Chronicles, but I know she's done Cinder. I think she's done Night Country and a whole bunch of other ones. And one thing I really appreciate about her style of narration is that it tends to feel very organic. And by that, I mean she does sort of do voices, but that's not what she focuses on. I think if you're too focused on narrating different voices for the characters and you don't do it well, it pulls the reader out of the story more than it helps. And I feel like she really focuses on emotional inflection over different voices, and that is something I really appreciate. I emotionally connect to characters more than anything else, and if I can't do that in an audiobook, it's just not worth listening to. Next up is Jim Dale, and he has done things like Harry Potter, The Night Circus. He's done the Peter Pan series, the ones that aren't written by the original J.M. Barrie, but somebody else. You might also know Jim Dale's voice if you have watched BBC's Merlin at all. He is the voice of the dragon. I love Jim Dale. I love him. I would listen to almost anything read by Jim Dale. He could read a grocery list and I would listen to it because he really captures the whimsy and the magic of those worlds in a way that I don't know that anyone else could. And he manages to be able to do different voices for characters that just adds to the richness of the story, because you don't have any trouble emotionally connecting with his characters and their voices. It just adds to the overall experience. He's like listening to a feature-length film all on his own. Next up is Saskia Marleveld. And she has done things like Ace of Shades, King of Fools. I know she's done Serpent and Dove, Blood and Honey, and some others. One thing I really like about Saskia is the richness to her voice. She's very, very intense. So the story always feels intense, especially when she's reading really emotionally wrought, weighty moments. She can deliver those in a way that doesn't sound contrived and forced. She also just has perfect pacing, I think, from what I've experienced of her narration style. A lot of them either pause too long or not long enough, and she just manages to pace everything and its delivery really perfectly, and it helps the cadence and flow of the story astronomically. Next up is Gemma Whelan, and she has done the Morgan Crow series, among others. Morgan Crow is the only one that I think I can think of off the top of my head that I've listened to her do, but that is a middle grade series, so I will say that in advance, that her narration style does match that kind of aged series. So because I haven't listened to any of the adult novels she's done, I can't say if her narration style matches those very well, but I do really think she captured the wonder of a child at that middle grade age reading a fantasy about a kid their own age that gets swept up into this magical world, and the magic isn't so much fun because there's consequences that they never expected. I love the Morgan Crow series, I will say, in part because it's just a really well-written world, but also because Gemma Whelan's narration style really helps you remember that the story isn't happening to, you know, a teenager. She's still like 11 years old, and she gets scared and doesn't want to do the things that she's supposed to do to fulfill her destiny. She doesn't want these powers that she allegedly has that not everybody in this other world has. They have powers, but not her specific set of powers, and that's a lot of pressure for an 11-year-old, and I think Gemma's narration helps capture that uncertainty and fear that can come along with being on an otherworldly adventure. Last but not least, we have Elizabeth Acevedo, and she narrates her own books, so if you already like her books, you're gonna love her narration. I think it's rare that an author can narrate their own books and do it justice, if that makes sense. They get a little too nitpicky and too focused on how they think they're supposed to be delivering the story, rather than letting it organically come from them the way the words did. It doesn't sound like it's their voice anymore. But Elizabeth Acevedo does not have that problem. You are sucked right into her characters. You know immediately the way she reads the story that she knows them inside and out, upside down. She can connect them to you emotionally in the just most genuine, warm way. Her narration style is so enjoyable to listen to. It makes me just feel really happy, and I really enjoy it, even though there are really emotional moments and hard topics that get dealt with in some of her novels. It doesn't lose that warmth and vibrancy that comes from her narration style. Her voice is full of life, and it makes listening to her audiobooks really, really enjoyable. But that is it for this quick video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like down below. If you want me to recommend specific audiobooks, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to do that. But for now, I'm going to get going because I'm only on a break. I have to get back to work. If you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button. And you should definitely ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat of Vlogoween. We are running out of days for Vlogoween, but I'm going to be coming at you with another video again tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye!